Today I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart, which is personality types. Mimi just came up with this amazing bingo theory over the last years, how you can learn to balance your masculine and feminine energy. And the fascinating thing is this helped you and your husband build a business that nets over 7 figures. We won't even say the exact amount. But the point being, you understand what we're talking about right now, the bingo theory, masculine and feminine energy, and how to use it to your advantage, and be careful that it doesn't work against you, can have tangible benefits, health, wealth, love, and happiness, all the stuff I talk about. I'm very happy you guys came to visit me from London, and pay close attention because there's a quiz on your website, and I'm gonna put a link to it, where you can actually take a 20 or a 10-minute quiz, and it'll lay out your strengths, weaknesses, and when we first met 2 or 3 years ago in London, Mimi actually helped me work on balancing out. She says, I remember you said, Tai, you're one of the more masculine guys I've met before. She didn't mean it she meant it, I don't know if it was a compliment, but she had good advice for me on a few things, and I've been doing them, and thanks for the good advice.
Thanks for having me. And
now I'm going to share it with everybody.
Thank you for encouraging me, because you were one of the first people I told about the bingo theory, and you were very encouraging about going after the book and actually getting the idea out. So thanks for that.
Was I?
Yeah.
My life is so on the go. Sometimes people are like, do you remember saying that? I'm like, but I'm sure if I had heard about this, I remember hearing about it being like, this is a good idea. Because what I find, and I have one of my close friends, and we always argue on how important personality tests are, and he's like, they're not that important. And I'm like, BS, they're extremely important. Even Peter Drucker, the most esteemed, Harvard business teacher of all time, he says, if you don't know your strengths, you can't build a powerful life. I mean, this is the foundation.
Know thyself.
Yes, Aristotle, Socrates. What are some things, like, for somebody watching, we'll get into how you can tell if you're masculine. If you're super masculine like me, what are the things you need to do? Because I remember what you told me.
You do?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I want to hear what you remember. But basically, when you look at the energy, I look at it from a very logical point of view. I mean, it's energy, but it's also the way the brain works. So you have the left side, which is logic, and the right side, which is creativity, expression. And, most people will have one side of their brain that's more developed that they use to a bigger capacity.
Right.
So if you use more of your left side of your brain, so more of your masculine energy, and you're not using the right side, you will have an imbalance in your life. So basically, how do you balance yourself? You have to find ways to, in your case, that was your feminine energy, you have to find ways to bring out more of that creative side, feminine energy, expressive. I think one of the tips I gave you, if I remember it right, I said that you have to just, express yourself more through the way that you dress. That can be one of the great things.
Do Yeezys count?
They're nice.
I got fitted.
And look at the color combination.
Fitted clothing, light.
50 Shades of Blue.
50 Shades of Blue.
So.
And you told me salsa. Because I used to do salsa. Dancing is good.
Yeah.
Art, music.
Yeah. Any exercise where you get to express yourself creatively will bring that out of you. So cooking, dancing, connecting with people, creating art, any kind of art, that could be painting, whatever you enjoy as a person, really, that could be it. For you, it's salsa because I know you dance. Yeah. And you said that you stopped dancing, and I said, no, you have to start dancing
back.
Again.
Because I do a lot of masculine stuff. I play basketball is masculine.
I know.
Jiu-jitsu is masculine. Boxing, Muay Thai.
Which just brings out more of what you are.
Now let me ask you this question on this subject. Peter Drucker, in the book Managing Oneself, which is one of the top books I recommend people read, he says you should build on strengths. You can't build on your weaknesses. So if somebody is reading this book and is playing devil advocate and says, but what about building on your strength? If you're masculine, should you do martial arts?
Yeah.
Should you do business? Should you be a serial entrepreneur? Or would you say go all the way and just do feminine stuff to balance?
There is a chapter on that in the book, actually, that covers it. Like, okay, well, if I'm masculine, why shouldn't I just amplify that? It's my strength, after all. And the way I look at it, it is your strength. It's not about becoming feminine. you're not going to become feminine. Your strength will always be your strength, and you have to use it because it's sort of like the magic ingredient that you have in yourself. You have to use it. But you cannot be ignorant to the fact that if you're not using your feminine energy, which you do have, everyone has both. Let's just, start kind of with that. It's not about black and white. Nobody's just masculine or feminine. We all have both. But if you're not using the other capacity of the other energy that has so many gifts, then you're missing out on certain aspects of your inner world that can be your outer world. So you can still be in business, you can still play basketball and jiu-jitsu or whatever, but it's about looking at other areas in your life that are missing out on the fact that you're not using your feminine energy. It could be relationships, it could be your own relationship with yourself, or connecting to other people, feeling empathy, love. There's many different aspects of missing out on feminine energy if you don't develop it within yourself.
So if somebody's watching this, if you're watching, dating, or you're married, or you're in a relationship, or you're thinking of getting a relationship, how does this help you? Because one of the things that you said, if I remember right, is that a lot of times a lot of opposites attract.
Yeah.
Do you think that's good, that a masculine person date more feminine?
Absolutely. You know how people say opposites attract?
Yes.
Usually when they say that, I think most of us think of opposite personalities. But that doesn't make sense. If you're an extrovert and you like to be out and travel, and your partner is an introvert, doesn't want to go out, doesn't want to travel, doesn't want to do anything you want to do, eventually you're going to have some kind of a conflict, because you're going to want to get out constantly, and that person will be like, I want to stay home. I don't want to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it might work in a short period of time, but it's not sustainable relationship.
Yeah.
Or it will be a relationship, but it just won't be a happy one.
Yeah.
But when people say opposites attract, I think what they really mean is that opposite energies.
Yeah.
And the reason we attract, it's like a magnet. If you're gonna have the same magnet of the same energy, it's like it repels.
Pushes apart, yeah.
But if it's the separate, you have the minus and the plus, it's like it just gravitates towards each other. And the reason that we gravitate towards the opposite energies, because you missing certain qualities, or you haven't developed certain qualities, you see it in another person, and it's like a mirror. When I'm around you, you bring out more of the masculine, for example, right? If I'm a feminine female and I'm around you, I look at you and you're so strong, you're so confident, you're so determined, it just rubs off on me. But then I'm so sweet and gentle and kind, and that rubs off on you. Yeah. And what happens is that you become really balanced as you're in that
relationship.
Opposite relationship.
You think the same applies to business partners?
Absolutely, yeah.
So almost all friendships, business partnerships, love. Yeah. Now you're married.
Yes.
And do you consider yourself as a woman more masculine or more feminine?
So I am a masculine strength woman. So the reason I call it strength is because whatever your energy is, that is the dominant energy in you, it truly is your strength. Yeah. Like we discussed earlier right now, it's not something to ignore and neglect. It's not about trying to be something you're not now. Like, okay, this is my strength, I'm gonna try to be feminine. No, this is the strength and you can't ignore it. If that's your strength, you have to use it. For you, like you said, you're also masculine. So you're using that skill by, doing business, being out there, leading, inspiring people, because that comes easy to you. It's so natural. So in my relationship, I'm the masculine strength female. However, I feel like I'm quite balanced now. It's been something that I've been working on. So you worked on it to balance yourself? Constantly, but at the same time.
What have you done to make yourself, because you're a female, how do you become more feminine as a female? Because you have for those of you just hearing about me, they have Luxy Hair, which is sells all kinds of hair accessories and all kinds of stuff, and you've got a business, you and your husband, with journals, 5-minute journal, and productivity planner. So you guys are kind of serial entrepreneurs already, which is masculine. What do you do to be more feminine?
I take the creative part of the business and I do that. It's not that I can't do the masculine side of the business, so basically the production and the books and all that other stuff, I could do it, I just don't enjoy it. So we have negotiated that I get to do the creative side.
You and your husband, Alex?
Yeah, okay. Alex and I, because he's the opposite of me, he's the feminine strength male, it just works so effortlessly. He takes over things that actually bring out the masculine out of him, and I take over the creative side. So I do the videos, the Instagram, all the creative works that, you know, I'm part of.
So you actually do the opposite. When you're masculine, you'll do the feminine parts. When Alex is feminine, you'll put him in charge of the masculine stuff.
Exactly.
And that's like it's like bodybuilding. It's like strengthening the muscle. Yeah. It's hard for you to lift it, but over time the muscle grows and accommodates, you know,
and
that
you
exercise.
feel better. You feel better because you feel more balanced.
Do you think you make more money from understanding bingo theory?
Absolutely. You just, because when you're happier internally, I think that's the first thing that happens when you understand the concept of balancing the energies inside of you that all of us have. You're a happier person, then that comes out on the outside. When you're happier, you just do better in business, you have better relationship with your partner, with your family, with your audience, whatever it is that you're doing, you just exude that amazing energy because you're balanced. It's sort of like becoming, and I mean I call it the bingo because it's like, you know, when you play the bingo, the game, and you get that winning combination, it's like bingo, like you win, but it's essentially you become that winning combination in life. Everyone is drawn to you, everyone's attracted to you, you're like the winner. Everyone wants to be that. It's like, you know, when guys are attracted to a girl and they say, you know, she's a 10.
Right.
Basically, that's what, you know, a lot
that's
of boys will relate to. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
You know,
well, and women, they might not say perfect 10. They say something like that.
You know, Prince Charming, whatever it is. Yeah.
Now, one thing I found that's interesting, there's a book called Compelling People. It's a book by these two Harvard guys. And their point of the book pretty much backs up what you're saying.
Oh, cool.
So they're scientists and they say, when you study powerful people, compelling people, presidents, public speakers, there's a magic. It's actually funny. You should read that book. I don't even think you read that book.
I will. I haven't.
But they don't call it bingo, but he calls it this magical formula that almost nobody has.
Interesting.
Which is strength and warmth.
But that's exactly what it is.
He said the perfect person to model yourself after is Oprah Winfrey. Because Oprah Winfrey is a bingo.
Absolutely.
In your theory, because she is strong. Like, but sometimes she'll call people out. Yeah. But she has a show about helping people get out of debt and relationships, and she can give
she's very vulnerable.
Yes.
In the show, you know?
And she knows. Bill Clinton is another person, and that's why Hillary Clinton has always struggled in the polls compared to her husband, because Bill is strong. You know, he's like, intelligence is, I think, more considered masculine, right?
Yeah, it's the
like logic part.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So he's logical. He has a great memory. He was a Rhodes Scholar, but he's also could tell jokes, funny, make the whole. Whereas Hillary Clinton is extremely competent.
Very reserved, more like.
Yeah, but she doesn't have any feminine.
She's quite masculine.
Or I shouldn't say she doesn't have any feminine, but people don't perceive her as having feminine. Yeah. And so she's so strong that people get intimidated.
And that's the reason why it's so important to balance.
Yeah. What would you say Donald Trump is?
God.
He seems pretty masculine. He says whatever he wants.
I think he's probably masculine. Yeah, he's a masculine strength male for sure. Yeah, because he's so. I mean, for somebody to get to that level of monetary success, you have to be driven by certain things that feminine energy probably wouldn't be driven by.
Do you think so? There's about, depending on how you count, nobody knows the exact number, but there's 600 to 800 billionaires, self-made billionaires in the world, and it's predominantly male. Now, some of that is because of society and discrimination and oppression and lack of opportunities for women. Do you think any of that has to do with this book, Bingo Theory, that women are maybe smarter than men? They make enough money and they're like, I just want to live a great life. I don't need to have, 6 zeros, 3 comma club, they call it, 9 zeros. Or do you think maybe women, by having the feminine side, are more enlightened than men? Because sometimes men just chase money till they die of a heart attack at 40. Whereas women are more concerned about, I also want to have a family. I also want to be happy. I want to take a vacation.
Yeah. You're onto something for sure. So as a female, if you're a feminine female, usually you are not really driven by success and money. It's just not your nature. You're more driven by purpose and by love and compassion and all these noble things.
Yeah.
as a masculine female, you could be driven by status and money and success, of course. And I believe the reason there's not as many female entrepreneurs or billionaires out there in the world is because we're just going through evolution. I think people are, whether through this book or any other book that's out there, I'm sure this information is out there, just in other forms. The more women become aware of this power they have, they will also evolve more.
So as a woman balances, if she's super feminine, wasn't as interested in business and finance and making money, as you balance or they balance themselves out, they'll become more financially successful.
They'll be more driven to go after.
Because you can't be. One thing, I interviewed Larry King, I said, Larry, you've met presidents and you've interviewed, basically you're in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most celebrity and powerful people interviews. And I said, what's the one thing that powerful people have? He said, easy, drive. And that's that masculine side.
That's absolutely masculine.
That's what makes you conquer. Alexander the Great, masculine. Napoleon. Michael Jordan, masculine. Now, how does somebody, if you're watching this and you're advising them, how does somebody figure out what they are? Because I've found people often miscategorize themselves.
Well, the book will offer a quiz that actually will be on the website as well.
So we'll put what's the website again?
It's thebingotheory.com.
The Bingo Theory. We'll put a link.
So the quiz will be available for everyone to take, so they can figure out what is their strength. Because that's the most important thing. Once you know what's your strength, you're like, okay, I don't need to do more of this to amplify that energy inside of me. Now I just have to figure out what the weak energy is inside of me and bring that up so I'm balanced. But there's several things. One of the things that you actually told me in the first meeting, this was over dinner in London like 2.5 years ago, when we first talked about the bingo theory, you told me about the finger test.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember this.
Yes.
So that's in the book as well.
Oh, you put it in there.
It's in there with nice illustrations.
I got a small contribution.
You're actually in the acknowledgements too.
Oh.
You can check it out.
Thank you. That's nice.
But so there's a finger test because, as you said, the
let me see yours again.
The fourth finger is the indication of testosterone, and the index finger is the indication of...
you have. I can see from here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
I know, and so this is a test. I have the most.
Wow.
I've tested every single guy I've ever met. I think I have the most.
I've never seen it that.
Mine goes like half an inch below my cuticle.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's a lot of
My friend, one of my best friends, it's funny, he actually looks like you, Alex. His fingers are the opposite.
Yeah.
And when we were I'll never forget, we were in San Diego, in Tierra Santa, walking from the park playing basketball. And we were both, I'd say 16. And I said, we were talking about girls. Some girls walk by that are pretty. And he goes, Tai, all I want to do is just find that one woman and just fall in love and be happily ever after. And I remember being like, what? You see all those women out there? Like, I want to try to go after all of them. And he did. He married the first girl that he ever dated. And he's, but he's very feminine.
Yeah. So the index finger.
Oh, his index finger is...
So Alex's is complete opposite.
It
actually looks exactly like mine, but reverse.
What happens is and this is real science, BBC has a great article that when you're in the womb, in your mom's belly, there's a time where testosterone is basically released all at once. And some people are exposed to tons of testosterone, some people are. And that's why you can't categorize. There's some feminine men and some look at Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, the UFC fighter. I was talking to Henry Gracie, who trains me, and he said she is the best athlete he's ever trained, male or female. So let me ask you, that kind of leads into the next question.
All right.
What if you don't like what you are?
I mean, that's a bit of a problem because in order for you to grow as a human, you have to accept what you are. And in my experience, telling this theory to people that I meet, usually the ones that have a problem with it are masculine, either females or males.
Really?
Yeah.
Not me.
Can you guess why? Not you,
I'm masculine. I'm like, no.
You were very open, and you were an exception. Same with my friend UJ, for example. Because you're more evolved, you're more balanced.
Okay.
Right? If you're not balanced and you're super masculine, you're like, feminine? There's no feminine in me.
Yeah.
Right? You know, but that is the problem, because unless you accept it, you cannot really bring more out of that.
Right.
And you might continue suffering until you come to a point where you're like, well, feminine is just the right side of my brain. It's the expression, it's the love, it's the connection. It's all these things that are here, but I'm just not expressing in my life.
Yeah.
And by not expressing it, the only person that's suffering is really you.
Yeah,
So-
and if you're watching, if you are masculine, you want to make money and be an entrepreneur and all that, if you study the great ones, they definitely had masculine. They definitely had the bingo theory. Like
Absolutely.
Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they could, especially Steve Jobs was naturally more feminine, I would say. I don't know what you'd say. Bill Gates was more masculine, but Warren Buffett is like very blended of both. He's funny,
Yeah.
he's witty. We've been joined by Alex, Mimi's husband, and I want to ask you guys a question, because we've been talking about the book, The Bingo Theory, how you guys balance out your relationship, your business. Let's talk about, we were talking yesterday how you met UJ, or back when you met UJ, you were talking about lifestyle businesses. That's one of Alex's business partner, your guys' business partner, wanted to meet you, but you guys were in France, unavailable, because you had such a great lifestyle. You were making money and nobody could reach you, which is a lot of people's dream, is to just disappear, take a year off, no weight on their shoulders, money coming in. And you guys have set up a business. I don't know if, do you guys share your numbers or?
We're pretty, what we share is that we're a 7-figure business, 7-figure profits.
Yeah.
7-figure profit, so over $1 million profit per year. And
In 7 figures. So I'm not saying, it's not,
could be 1.1 million or
Could be
9,999,000 of profit.
Yeah.
We'll never know. With that business model, tell people it's because it's not just how much money you make, it's how you make it.
Of course.
How many trips have you guys been on in the last 12 months, would you say?
Gosh.
Name some of the
and
spots.
we don't even try that hard anymore. Like
Right.
it's when we first started doing the lifestyle, that's when we were really intrigued by the whole, you know, we read the 4-hour work week, like we want to live this lifestyle.
You're
That's what
like
we wanna
hungry
do.
to travel.
We were hungry to travel, and that's what we did. After 2 to 3 years, we realized it's not really for us. We just still travel because now we live in London, and we positioned ourselves to allow us to still travel more on the weekends. Because we love to work. So, like the whole lifestyle thing. I think it's one of the biggest misconceptions for a lot of people. A lot of people want the dream, they want the lifestyle, like we did. But what we realized for ourselves is the work, the actually building of the business is actually can be one of the most exciting, fulfilling things ever.
Yeah.
So what we do now, we mix it. So we work most of the Monday to Fridays, and we live in London, so that we have this image. Every time somebody meets us, they're like, oh, where are you off to traveling? But in reality, we actually work most of the week. Sometimes we'll jet off maybe on a Friday.
Yeah.
Like last week, we left on a Friday to Sicily, and then we came back Monday.
Yeah.
Right? So we just had an extended long weekend, but we still had that lifestyle and the ability to do that if we wanted to.
And
But,
I think
yeah.
the important thing to point out is that we tried it. And
Yeah.
you know, you have to try it out. We did
Yeah.
it for 2 years. We lived in Costa Rica, we lived in south of France, we lived in California, we lived in many different places for like long periods of time. We'll go somewhere for like a month and just like settle down there. But it just didn't work for us. We realized that we prefer to have one base because it just mentally it works better for us. We can be more focused on what we're doing, and we're just happier to have a place where it's at our base and like we have our roots there. And then we take shorter trips with purpose, as opposed to just like mindlessly traveling.
This, by the way, is something I've been talking about for years. I've been telling people, and that's actually when we first met. We connected around
Yeah.
this subject
You're
because
right.
some people, it's very easy as an entrepreneur to take it too extreme and just set up your life where you don't have a house and you travel
Yeah.
from place to place, but then your business suffers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, not just your business, but your
Absolutely.
life suffers.
Yeah.
Your
So
relationship.
what you want to do is actually, I like how you guys said it, structured.
Yeah.
A structure to life that's not too constricting. Like the average person, if you're watching this and you have a 9-to-5 job, it's too constricting. You like, if you want to take one day off, you have to
Yeah.
ask permission and then this, and you can only work from a cubicle. Let's say if you know that the average American job, you know what the number one American job is? Call center rep.
Wow.
So most people wake up, they gotta be they leave at 7, drive, get there at 8, sit in a cubicle, make phone calls, get a week of vacation plus some sick days, and it's so over. It's actually like your book, The Bingo Theory. It's an imbalanced life.
It is.
But other people go to the other extreme, which is like,
Too
I'm like,
leisurely.
where do you live, dude? Where do you put your socks and shoes? And if you living out of a suitcase, that gets old fast.
Oh yeah, we've been there. So,
Yeah.
and I think for us, what we realized most importantly, we literally, and we shared this publicly as well. After 2 to 3 years, we've admitted to ourselves it was depressing.
Yeah.
Literally, like
I
we
got
were
depressed
depressed,
pretty
like,
fast,
yeah,
actually.
and-
It took him about a year and a half and getting his dream car. For me, it was quite fast.
Yeah, for me, because it all started, like when we started our business, we became profitable right away. We did $1 million our first year.
Yeah.
So it was very quickly how everything
And
evolved.
you were making before that. You just worked at a bank.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we
You got fired from
we
the
were
bank,
unemployed.
right?
We were
Yeah.
unemployed for almost 2 years.
Did you both work at the same bank?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how we
that's
met.
how we met.
So what were you bank tellers?
Me
I
was
was
bank
a
teller.
bank teller, then I was like a branch ambassador, so like
Okay.
greeting people when they
Yeah,
come in.
I
and
saw-
then Alex was a personal banker.
But it wasn't a high level job. You
No.
were
No,
like
it was
president
at
of
the
Bank of
branch,
America. Yeah.
Like at the local.
Like retail level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
retail level.
So-
So you're making 40, 50 grand a year.
Not even.
Not
It was
even.
like I was 30 grand.
Yeah.
Something.
So
like
you went from 30 grand to $1 million.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Well, I think, like I said, for Mimi, she felt like
It's
a
a great
millionaire right
question.
away.
She felt like a millionaire right away, and you did it?
No, because to me, I think when you're starting a business, I think maybe it just you still want to know, like, okay, is this for real? Like,
Yeah.
how long is this gonna last? Like,
Yes.
I need to. Is this maybe seasonal? Are we just getting lucky here? Is there consistency in the business?
Yeah.
And how long can we ride this for?
So you were a little more nervous about this,
Yeah.
you said.
It was a
Which
bit
is
more
a more,
skeptical.
is that's a little, would you say that's the more feminine?
Yeah, because
Because
I
usually
was more
masculine are like
confident.
optimists.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's it. Like, that's
Yeah.
it. I'm good. Now it's up to me to continue this if I want to.
Yeah.
But like, I've made it.
Yeah.
Kind of felt that confidence because you see that people respond well to you and you know that you can do great things with it if you want to, of course. But
for-
with Alex, he was a bit more like, well, I don't know. Let's see how this goes. And
Exactly, and I just
It
wanted to
took me a
really
while,
see,
yeah.
and I still had a certain goal, and figure to reach in a bank account.
Yeah.
Where it's like, because the thing with business, a lot of people don't talk about. It's like, there's a lot of $1 million businesses, but how much are you actually making and netting? And that's why I
Yeah.
say we're making 7-figure profits.
Yes.
That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
I know a lot of. I used to be part of EO Entrepreneurs Organization, where it's entrepreneurs that make they have $1 million businesses. But there's so many people in there who are making like 40 grand.
Yeah.
And because it doesn't like you can be make that's one of the biggest misconceptions in business is like just because you have a 7-figure business doesn't mean you're actually making millions or have $1 million cash in your bank account.
Yeah.
To get $1 million cash in your bank account, you have to make a lot of money because there's taxes, employees, all that stuff that goes out. To actually net after that $1 million
Yeah.
to have in your bank account, that's a huge
It's an
difference.
accomplishment.
So for me, really, I kind of set a number. Okay, we have to reach a certain number where I feel like it's set.
Yeah.
And for me, like once I had a certain number, and once I had my dream car that I wanted,
What was the dream car?
it wasn't as fancy as you. I didn't want a
No,
Ferrari.
it's fine.
or anything
No,
like that.
what was it?
But for me, I just wanted a 3 Series convertible hardtop.
Okay.
And I was like, because we used to literally we would talk like we would want this car.
visualize.
What
the
car
car.
did you want? Did you
Same
want
We
car.
one?
both like
Okay.
the same.
Same car. So we got that car, and as soon as I got the car and the money, I was like, this is depressing. And so that's when we really changed our mindset with it. And that's why Mimi's saying that it's important to actually travel
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
actually strive to
Get
do
it
that.
out of your system.
Get it out of
you know?
your system. Do it. Go
Yeah.
full in. You
I
want
did the
this-
same thing.
Yeah.
40, 50 countries later, I'm like, I'm good. No, I still like to travel, but
Yeah.
I like structured travel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like traveling. One thing I've found is if you have a purpose to what you're
Oh.
doing in your business, then it's kind of like you travel here to
Yeah.
London.
Yeah.
I mean, from London, and you're here at my house. You're also going to this mastermind.
Yeah.
So you're getting the full travel experience.
Yeah.
Like you guys went to Santa Monica and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But you're not just doing tourist spots.
Exactly.
Absolutely,
Most
yeah.
tourists, I'm like, you know that you're going to places that nobody in LA goes to. I remember I was in New Zealand. Funny story. I'll never forget this. I was in New Zealand, and I was just in this one historic area eating, and I won't say what country because it's stereotypical, who takes a lot of pictures. And there was a bus came from that country. People got out at a tripod, set up cameras. This dude spent 10 to 15 minutes setting up tripods. And I'm thinking, and I couldn't see what he was going to do a picture of. I'm like, what is he taking a picture of? And I kid you not, it was a statue. Now, if you don't know, you don't need a tripod for a statue because a statue doesn't move. And it was like some New Zealand random, like the 1953 ambassador to Tahiti. And this dude, and I remember thinking, that's not a real travel experience. To travel New Zealand is to, I did this. I worked at some farms in New Zealand. You know, I like exactly,
with the culture,
yeah.
with the people.
Well, how do you guys do that now? Like when you went to Sicily, or do you try to find some friends you already know, or when you go to Spain or this kind of stuff?
Friends is the best way.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, we're here in LA, we're staying with you. This is the best way to integrate into the culture, to find really cool spots in the
Yeah.
city. So we do that a lot because we travel a lot. We've made a lot of friends over time. A lot of them are also entrepreneurs, so we have a lot in common, and it's just a different kind of experience you get when you're traveling that way. It's not always 90. I would say it's 80 to 90% though.
But we also,
that kind of
for
travel.
example, for Mimi has a channel and she'll film like let's say a vlog for our trip, and that also forces us to go out and try to find new experiences.
Yeah.
Last time we were in Sicily last weekend, I was just filming this famous cannoli guy. He makes this cannoli. He made like 1,000 cannolis for Bill Clinton, and then you come in and there's literally a handwritten thank you card from Bill Clinton, and it says like, Bill Clinton, thank you so much for
This
making
guy's
cannolis.
getting good marketing.
And I filmed him last week, and he's like, he saw us filming. He's like, come in. He's like, come to the back. He takes us to the back.
He let us into
he's
the
like,
kitchen.
he shows us how to do it, and he's so proud. He's like, I made Bill Clinton cannolis. But when you are kind of filming and doing something that's beyond just for you, because that's what we do when we film. We're not just filming for ourselves. It's not just for our family home video.
Yeah.
We're filming for our channel, and all of a sudden, a lot of doors open up, right? People are like, yeah, come, let's do this. I'll show you that. And so I think that's like you nailed it. I think, and that's what we realized for ourselves. Not only to travel with purpose, but also to have a business with purpose.
Yeah.
So for us as well, it's like we had to then, and a lot of times I think, don't even see the purpose of their business.
Yeah.
Meaning even for ourselves, we then actually had to start thinking, okay, why are we doing what we're doing?
Yeah.
And is there purpose involved in our business? And all of a sudden, you actually start seeing the purpose you do in your business. Because a lot of times, if you're making money, you're delivering value to people.
Right, you're helping people.
Yeah, you're helping people. But a lot of people don't see that because, like we were, I'll be honest, at the beginning, it was just about money because we come from nothing.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, it was just money. But once you have money, you're like, okay, what's the point?
Yeah.
And then you start seeing, the important thing is to start gaining that awareness and start seeing, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I making money? What people am I affecting? How can I positively affect these people? And all of a sudden, once you start having these whys in your business, then it allows you, number one, you actually won't feel depressed because you have purpose and drive and just what you do. That's why you get excited to come to the office. Like my favorite day of the week is Monday, like hands down. Like you even said, like we flew in here on Friday night and we came into your office. Tai was still there, like, I don't know, it was like 10, 11. And I'm like, Tai, why are you working so late? He's like, I'm not, what did you say?
I'm not working.
I'm not working.
yeah, exactly. And that's
exactly how we feel.
That's exactly how we feel. And Tai was on there, you know, you did the little mastermind thing you were doing. And Tai was only supposed to be there till 9:30. He went there, you were there till like 2, 1 a.m.
Morning, yeah.
Exactly. But Mimi and I were laughing because we're like, that's
We
what
get
we
it,
would do.
yeah.
Because I remember we were in New York, we did a meetup, we're only going to do this for an hour. We're there for like 3.5 hours later. Because it's not that we're there because sometimes we do it for the money. We're there because we want to give people the best experience.
Yeah.
And I remember when we flew on Friday, we felt the same thing. And I think the most important thing that I'm trying to really say to people is that it's very important to reposition your thinking about business, what you do, about how can you align it with your purpose. Because once you do that, making money becomes way easier, and it also feels so much better for you what you're doing.
Yeah. Let me ask a cool thing that you have here. Alex, UJ, do you have the productivity word? I saw that productivity
Planner. Yeah, it's outside, I think.
Can
Do
you
me
grab
to
it outside? Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm gonna put 2 links. One is to productivity planner, and one is to the what's
5-minute journal?
The 5-minute journal. And the 5-minute journal is something that you recommend people use to create happiness, gratitude.
It's like conditioning your
And then
mind.
the productivity planner is based around, you were telling me a cool story on the theory, and I'm going to come back around. I'm actually going to have Andrew, who works with me, interview for you for a second on that, because that's one of the most common questions and the most popular things I can talk about is how to be more productive with daily routine. I mean, people will watch those videos, and I realize why. All of us can look back at our lives and be like, I could have done twice as much in half the time. And that's my kind of mantra for my own brain. It's like, how can I do twice as much with half the effort? So that's like the proverbial, have your cake and eat it too. Because a lot of people think, I want more money. But then they go, oh, but that means I have to work 80 hours a week. No, the goal is you're working 40, you're making this much. How can you work 20 and make double? And I see that with your body. I see that with every part of your happiness. So I want him to talk about one, then we'll bring that back
80-20.
in.
80-20, always is. Pareto as well.
Yeah. Mimi, this was amazing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now you can follow
Truly a
Mimi.
pleasure.
She has a huge Instagram, like a million, or almost is it a million?
It's about that.
Almost a million people. Huge. How many YouTube subscribers do you have?
I think it's at about, I honestly don't really pay that close of attention, so I'm not like focused on the numbers too much, but I think it's about 500,000 right now.
Yeah, 500,000
It's
YouTube
about the
subscribers.
engagement, not the subscribers.
That's right. Very engaged.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna put a link here. Highly recommend you take the quiz. Buy the book. Obviously, you want to buy the book because I love books, so I'm good at recommending books. And then we'll also I want to put a little special link for the quiz. I'm going to come up with it. And then maybe I'll share what I get on it.
Yeah.
People always want to know what's your personality, dude. So click the link, look for it on Amazon, and also look for the way I would do it. Here's the order I recommend. The second you hear of a good book, trust me on this. I practice what I preach. Buy it instantly. Now I have a butler guy that runs my house, and he stopped asking me about a year ago whether to buy books. Why? Because he'd be like, I heard this might be a good book. I'm like, buy it. He's like, don't you want to know the name? I'm like, no. The risk-return ratio on books are so, look, this book, whatever it is, whether it's, I'm not sure the exact price it's going to be, but let's say it's, well, if you put this in action, for you guys, it's been 1,000x return.
And it's very actionable. There's a lot of practical advice that you can take to actually improve and balance your life.
There's
So
a
it's
cool
not
thing about
just
measuring your fingers in here too. Make sure you take that. So click the link, then reach out to Mimi, reach out to myself, tell me what your personality type is. And to end this video, I want to do a survey in the comments below.
Yeah, that would be cool.
What do you think, before you take this, leave a comment. Do you think you're more masculine or more feminine, and why? Then once you take the quiz and read the book, come back and re-comment on this video. Let's see if it changes, because trust me, people don't know themselves. Before I knew about personality types, I used to think I was this dude over here, and these things bring you back to reality. They're kind of like a good, I don't know, a wake-up call.
Putting a mirror in front of yourself and looking at it and facing what you see.
Exactly. So thanks so much, and
Thank you for having me.
click the link.